It was water coming out of everywhere.
The toilet wasn't
It
flushing,
was water
right?
coming out of the toilet. It was water coming out of the tub.
But we had clogged that thing like 3 times. Plumbers, everything all above. And then finally, you know, we removed the whole toilet. We put a camera.
I didn't know if it was an arm, a finger, or something was up under there. But then,
all right, guys, we're here at XR Podcast, episode 10. Wow, time is flying. Anyways, I'm here with 2 special guests, Chianti on my left and Shannon on my right. I can't live without them, and for real. These are my property managers. They manage all my properties, and it would be impossible for me to own anything if I didn't have them. Tell me a little bit about you, I guess.
Well, I met Greg about, let's say, 14 years ago. And I am the wife of Mr. Chianti Chapman, which sits on the other side of Greg.
absolutely.
However, we were in the market of purchasing some property for my daughter. And I had a realtor. It wasn't Greg. It was another realtor. However, he was lazy. So he never wanted to come.
The other realtor.
Yeah, the other realtor.
Yeah.
He never wanted to come and show the properties. He would just tell us, just go, and just let me know what you saw.
Yeah.
However, Greg met me there. And when he met me there, it was such positive energy.
Thank you.
It was good vibes. I mean, he was very helpful, very knowledgeable. I mean, it was everything.
And back then it was, sorry to interrupt you, back then it was crazy too. It was, remember, foreclosure, short sales, can't get into property.
Right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Remember?
Yeah,
and the market was crashing.
Yeah, the market was crashing.
Yeah. But it was just such good energy. So I decided at that time, I was like, hey, I want you to be my realtor.
Yeah.
He was asking me the logistics he needed to ask concerning if I had a contract with this guy. So he didn't just overstep his boundaries.
No.
So I like that about you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
I definitely did.
And from there to now, here we are.
Of course, you're one of my clients, but then I guess I became your client.
Yes, you did.
You know, but besides buying properties with me, you're kind of like you run the logistic, I say, of this property management, because I contact you all the time.
Correct.
Of any issues that happen. And then we send.
Yeah, Mr. Chapman.
Mr. Chapman.
We send him out.
Yeah. So introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Chianti Chapman, the guy behind the scene.
Yeah.
Actually, like Greg was just saying, I'm pretty much, I sit in the background, and when my wife hears from Greg, she pretty much give me a list of things that we need to take care of. So it's when you get around to the project, it's always more than what the tenant tells you, tells us what it is. So we have to kind of get there and do our groundwork, see what it is. Sometimes I find it that they blow it up and tell you that it's more than what it is.
Oh, with the tenant?
Yes, absolutely.
I love my tenants, but sometimes, of course, they'll exaggerate a little bit, and that's what it is with owning properties, right?
Yes.
When you guys own properties, like I make it all seem nice and bubbly, and I want you to buy, and I'm always a big promoter, and I believe in properties, absolutely, but there is little headaches.
Yes,
nothing is nothing is super smooth. And that's why we're here, kind of like to tell you guys about the real, what happens really behind the scenes.
Correct.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I think I get a call, at least a text or call or something on a daily basis, and we talk every day.
We do. I talk to Greg more than I talk to my husband. He's the only man.
One way to write messenger or voice message, but we talk, and there's always something going on, but little things that needs to be taken care of, right?
Yes, it needs to be addressed.
It needs to be addressed, and that's why even with tenants or when you're being a landlord, you got to be on top of stuff. You get on top of your building. You don't want to let it go.
Correct.
And also you want to be on top. Deliver good service to the tenants too, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Because if they feel like you're paying attention and you're answering them, then they feel like, okay, my landlord's taking care of it.
Correct.
And that's why, thanks God, with you guys, I'm blessed. You talk with your husband, and you go there.
Absolutely. That's
you go there, and not only you fix stuff, but I gotta say, you give them attention, you talk with them, polite.
One of the pluses that you have to do. It's much more. Actually, that's more valuable than actually doing a job.
Yep.
Because you never know what they're going through, and just being able to perform what needs to be done, plus give them an ear.
Exactly.
it kind of smooths it down.
Yeah. Because everybody,
that's probably why he's there for 2 and 3 hours. I understand. Yeah.
when you're cooking and the food is ready and he's not coming home, you're like, where are you, honey?
Well, I'm helping out Miss Sue over here. But no, it's all good. They do favor him. They like him. He's a people person.
Yes.
He goes in, he takes care of the job, and they're happy to have him. Because, sometimes they don't want maintenance in their house. He's so favored. Sometimes they'll give him the key to come in their house.
Like he's just a nice guy.
He is.
You too,
nice guy.
of course. Everybody loves you too. But it's like we were talking about. Yeah, look, I don't know what he's gonna say, but
I'm not. I'm just. Yeah, they love her as well, but they're little. They can be. She scares me at times. So,
but sometimes what I gotta say. If I need, don't get me wrong, I love you, right? And you're there to, smooth it over. But sometimes there's stuff I need to get done, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're a nice guy, and then I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't work. So that's what I need Shannon to take care of.
Need some balance in this thing, right?
So, there's many times I'm like, she took care of stuff that, if it wasn't for you, I would never got it done, Yeah. And sometimes you gotta put some rules too.
For sure.
And it's important, in a nice way, of course.
Exactly.
But we have to. We have so many stories too. But you guys also, besides helping me, I know you help other clients too, and other building owners and people that I know too.
Correct.
And that's why this is kind of like all you do now. Like you're running around all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's almost like I go to sleep to wake up early so that I can actually be at those places. My wife kind of gets mad at me at times and tells me, "Why do you leave so early?" I said, because I have to get a routine of, it's almost like getting a haircut or something. Yeah. You have to see the finished product. So I like to get there so that I can sit back and kind of go over it in my mind, the things that they're asking to be done, things that have to be done. Yeah. I like to play them through and get them so once I walk in, it's no surprise.
Yeah,
and if it is, it's...
Absolutely.
I've already gotten an answer to it.
Like this morning, you went upstairs.
Absolutely.
You already went to do a whole checklist of,
right.
We have this, building that we just bought here, this location, and there's things still happening,
absolutely.
Because that's what happens a lot, like especially when you buy new places, right?
Correct.
That in the beginning, the first 6 months is almost like the worst.
Right.
There's so many little things that the previous landlord didn't do,
didn't address,
didn't care, wouldn't answer the phone.
Absolutely.
So then you buy it, and you really buy into problems.
Exactly.
Right.
You basically inherit it.
Yeah. And you're gonna have a lot of headaches in the beginning.
Yeah. Them unforeseen things that you don't know about. Them behind the scenes all the time.
Correct. And don't get me wrong. It's still a good deal. Like in the long run, you got to think about a different mentality. In the long run, it's going to be worth it. Mm-hmm. So in the long run, you're going to gain more value. In the long run, you're going to have good tenants. In the long run, you're going to cash flow. But in the beginning, you can't stress.
Right.
Like today, while we're recording this podcast, I sent you upstairs. You have a whole list for me. Mm-hmm. We have new appliances coming in for some other tenant. Mm-hmm. Like things happen.
Yes, they do.
So
all the time. Yeah. I'm thinking it's not ever a dull day. I don't think it's ever a day that I don't get a text from some tenant asking for something. Okay. Yeah. So, and those things you have to put in perspective of what's important and and everything is important. Don't get me wrong, but there's some things that are a little more important because if a water heater goes out and it's in the wintertime, you got to get that fixed. Yeah, that's most important. Yeah, and sometimes tenants don't understand that because they all feel like, well, we all pay rent, and they do. This is good. Yes. However, if you don't have water, that's a little bit more important than your stove not working.
Yeah, we had to do that recently.
Yeah, we had to repair the water heater over there.
Which
was like I think that was a very big water heater.
It was.
And it was very crazy.
Big project.
But some good things came out of it.
Good things came out of it. Good things came out of it. It's crazy how it works, right?
Exactly.
But we had to be on top of it, right? You were calling, I got 10 tenants there. So you got calling 10 people in a row, making them feel good.
Exactly.
Chianti was over there. Mm-hmm. Then we were getting ripped off.
Correct.
By a lot of contractors. I love you guys, but so we had to shop around for the best price.
Exactly.
You absolutely have to.
Yeah. So we had to call a bunch of places too.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a tough,
Which took some time as well.
Took some time,
because you didn't want to just jump at the first thing. Yeah. Because you want to be smart in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Always.
But then also trying to let the tenants know that I'm doing the best that I can and making them feel confident and giving them suggestions and trying to help them in the best way that you can.
Yeah. Right? Because they deserve the best too, right? you know, I mean, they're working, they work hard, they're paying the
Exactly.
rent, they
Correct.
deserve to have a good, you know, good living space. So I want the best for them too.
And
that's what
sometimes
we
you
try.
get those that are understanding.
Yes.
And sometimes you get those that want to take advantage of the situation.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay.
I know.
You know, they don't want to pay their
Yeah.
rent because they was out of water for 2 days.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
like, okay.
you know, things of that nature. However, you kind of smoothed it over and
Yeah.
were able to get it to back.
But sometimes we do have some bad, you know, examples, stuff that happens. Like, I remember one building, we, not that we were delaying, we were on top of it. County went over, you talk with him, and we're like, hey, we need a couple days, we'll be there, don't worry.
Right.
I think he had his bathtub was clogged. So then he just went ahead and tried to unclog it himself.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and then what
Cause more
happened?
harm than good.
Yeah, long story short, then Shannon calls me like, hey, the unit below is getting water all over her unit, it's raining. I'm
Yes.
like, what the heck?
Yes,
Because
because
what
he
happened?
felt like we wasn't coming in a timely manner. However, Keontae is not a plumber, and sometimes we need a licensed, certified plumber to come in and do that work.
Correct.
And he wasn't willing to wait.
Correct.
So he took it upon his own.
Correct.
To rod his own tub
He did.
with an instrument that he shouldn't have been using.
Definitely.
Okay? And so that's what happened. And then that leaves for you to have to pay for those
And then-
damages because
Yeah.
they're not going to
Yep.
pay for them.
Yep.
The
And that-
tenants are not going to pay for the damages that they create.
And it's hard for me too. I'm not gonna lie. Like, what do I do? Go after them? Just
Right.
pay? Like, I had to eat the bullet there.
Exactly.
Like,
you
really,
did.
I had to repair his repair, and then the unit downstairs because it wasn't her fault, right?
Correct.
That it was raining from the ceiling.
Exactly.
So I had to eat the bullet, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, hopefully for a greater good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is. I feel good in the long run. Again, I look, you know, anything I buy, any investment I have, I look in the long run, in the future. You know what I mean? Because, like you said before off camera, we were talking like, anytime you're buying a property, a lot of people believe like, hey, you buy the first property, you're gonna become rich. You're
Yeah.
gonna get all this money.
Correct.
Does it work like that?
No, it does not work like
doesn't.
that.
It
It takes
doesn't.
time.
It takes
doesn't
time.
work like
You
that.
got to accumulate properties, pretty much, right?
Correct.
But they help you to buy other properties,
Yes, they do.
but step by step.
Correct.
So there might be a year you're breaking even,
Yeah.
right? Because you got to change a water heater or something, you know. But you can't stress. You can't panic.
And you have to keep the maintenance up on the property as well.
That's right.
Because once you keep the maintenance up and the curb appeal, which you're very big on curb appeal.
Oh my
Absolutely.
You know,
It
curb
is.
appeal is good. It keeps tenants in your building because
Yeah.
that tells the tenants
Yeah.
that, or people that's in the search for units, that the landlord cares about the property.
Yes,
If you
yes.
come to a property and the
Yeah.
grass is 4 feet high,
Correct.
you're not going to want to rent there.
Yeah, no,
okay,
no.
but if you come and the grass
Yep.
is maintained with a
Yep.
nice haircut,
Yep.
a great
Always,
lining,
always.
you know, and the mailbox is intact. You know, the address is being
You have
seen.
to, yeah.
You know, the fence is locked. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
People are going to want
It's
to rent
important.
there. And
Yeah.
the tenants that you have there are not going to be so eager to leave.
I want them to be happy when they go home, right? Like, oh, this is a nice place. You know,
Exactly.
have a smile on their face, right?
No matter how the rest of the day went, you know,
Yeah.
it heading home,
Yeah.
they're feeling a certain.
Yeah.
They're looking forward to it.
Exactly. Even the simple grass, like some landlords cut it every 3 weeks. No, I cut my hair every week. My grass is cut every week.
That's it.
That's it. Whatever it is, it got to look good. You know.
Because you're very big on maintenance
Yeah.
of the real estate. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's really super important. And you guys too. Like I've been in your places and they're pretty gorgeous.
Yeah, I
You
try
know,
to keep
gotta
them
say.
clean. And the reason why I do that is because I feel like if I'm going to stay there, then I want them to stay like I would stay.
Yeah.
So I try to keep it up for
Yeah.
them. And in doing that, we've had tenants that we've had ever since we've had our properties.
Yeah.
They don't move out.
And don't want to leave.
And don't
They say
wanna
they
leave.
they're not going to leave.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't
Wow.
I didn't
love
understand it at first, but as I listened to him more and more, and my wife and I talk, I began to realize. I said, you know what?
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, because I would be the same place,
But also
same person.
based on their experience too.
Yes.
You know, other places,
Yes.
other unit they
Yes.
go, right? You know,
Right.
we didn't have that good experience. You
Yeah.
know, people on top of their property, you know, maintaining it. So that's huge.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
you
and
guys
when
do.
when they call, like you said, if you show a person that you're concerned,
Yeah.
they tend to appreciate that.
Correct.
And they
Correct.
want to be around that, and they
Right.
want to stay within them realms.
They want to stay, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, talking about tenants want to stay, because I know one of your properties that you have in Berwyn, actually, I know nobody's leaving now. You bought the one next door.
Oh, yeah.
You know, by coincidence, crazy story, but
Right, very crazy.
it worked out really well. But that property was a project.
Yeah.
It was.
It wasn't a like, hey, turn on, you know, get the keys, you know.
Definitely wasn't
Like you
that.
were there, like
Every day, 5 a.m.
Right?
until like sometimes I think the latest probably would be about 8.
I think that time you slept like 3 hours a day.
Yeah,
You're doing my properties, that property.
Yeah.
Both of you.
It was very stressful. It was a very stressful situation. However, it was a good prize at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
But very stressful going into it with from the contractors to hiring lawyers to the loan that we obtained.
Remember?
But because we had that support from yourself and
of course.
The
Dream
loan
team.
officer.
Dream team.
we call it. We were able to make it through. However, would we give up? No.
No, we never
keep
give up.
going.
We never give up.
because those things are a thing of the past, and you learn from those.
Yeah, you do.
So it was a stressful experience, but I learned from
It's
it.
amazing, yeah.
And then the whole getting the tenants in as well.
Yeah.
Because now you got to run an ad for tenants to come. Then you have to choose through the tenants that you want.
Correct.
We had over 240 something tenants to come through there.
Wow.
So it was challenging, even in that end, because you think, okay, I'm at the end now. The place is ready. Let's put somebody in here, and now you got 240 people.
Yeah.
And you have to use your best judgment.
Yeah.
Because even though people come, we all have a past, right?
Yeah.
So even
we
though
give
people,
everybody a shot.
Exactly. Even though people come, some people credit ain't good.
Yeah.
But that doesn't define who they are as a person.
No, it doesn't.
So we have to go through and use our other intelligence to say, hey, although her credit is not this good or his credit is not that good, we see some other qualities in it.
Correct.
Okay. So now the building is full.
Like besides, of course, helping me out and everything, talking about tenants, you also place tenants
Yes, I do.
to my buildings and even other buildings too.
Yes, I established relationship with landlords.
Okay.
Because there's people that needs to be housed. I
Okay.
mean, that's one thing we need: food,
That's really
water, and
nice.
housing,
Yep.
shelter. We
Yep,
got to have a place to
absolutely.
stay.
Absolutely.
So I place elderly, I place veterans,
That's awesome.
I place youth and disabled.
Wow.
Okay, into different units because
Wow.
I've established a relationship with a lot of different landlords.
Yeah.
In which we plan to have a landlord.
Yeah, we do.
Information session here
gonna
at
be fun.
XR.
At XR, yeah, it's gonna be
and
fun.
we can give the landlord some more information concerning these tenants and participants that we're trying to replace within my organization.
Yeah, because sometimes you know how it is. Some landlords are, I don't know. There's like a stigma out there, right?
Exactly.
Oh my God, Section. First of all, it's not called Section 8, it's a voucher program.
It's
but
called a housing voucher now.
housing voucher, yeah. But there's a stigma out there, right?
Exactly, it sure is.
Like and I think that's why we're going to do some training too.
Correct.
For landlords because even if you place somebody with a housing voucher, even those people, they have to have good background.
Yes, they do.
It can't just be criminals, right?
Correct.
In
You
a way.
cannot. Yeah, because people perish for lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, then you can't take advantage of all these opportunities out
Exactly.
here. Because even if you house housing voucher people, you can get tax credits for that.
Exactly.
Big tax credit breaks.
Exactly.
But if you don't know, you can't participate in it. Okay.
Exactly.
So housing voucher people are not all bad people.
No.
And
no.
they really can't have a background because you can't even obtain a voucher with the
Correct,
background.
right? Yeah.
Okay.
We just placed someone in one of my units, and
Correct.
sweetheart.
Exactly.
And you know her for years.
Yes, I have for years.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, really good person. And we did everything because I'm like, hey, Shannon, I need the background, I need this. And
Right. Exactly.
it was as good as anybody.
Yeah, and she's a wonderful person. So
Yeah.
we want to educate the
Right.
landlords on these different programs that are out there, and
Plus,
also educate the people that are interested in purchasing property from XR.
Yeah. A little bit win-win. It'll be a win-win. But in the meantime, you're also doing, something nice, right? Nice for the community.
Oh, for sure.
I remember we had someone, unfortunately, he ended up going to hospital, but he was just a retired disabled.
Yes.
Right? He was a good man too, and you know what I mean? And he was in one of those programs.
Correct.
So it's
He
something
was.
nice. Like it would be hard for him to find a unit on his own.
Yes, it would be definitely hard. So I'm an advocate for them. So I go in and talk to the landlord, give them some information concerning this person, be honest, upfront, and truthful, and then they can decide if that's someone that would be a good fit for their property.
Yeah. Plus, with you're like the perfect person to do it because you own properties.
Yes.
You know all the ins and outs. You place your own tenants.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what the landlord thinks and what they want.
Exactly.
And you tell them, hey, this is what's going on. I know. I feel you. I've been on your side too. Mm-hmm. So you know both sides.
Right.
That's huge.
Yeah, on both sides of the fence. That's very huge.
Yeah.
Because not only as a landlord, as a tenant as well.
Correct. Exactly. Same
I'm
here.
on both sides.
And
I've
we
been
also-
a tenant before,
Yeah.
and now I'm a landlord.
Yeah, we know how it goes.
Exactly.
And some people I even have family that are misfortune sometimes too, and they're tenants and don't have the best credit or situation, and they need help too. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So I kind of look at we got to look at all
Exactly.
You know,
right, and
different
help
ways.
all as we can. So,
Correct.
and that's something that we do. So
Correct.
you guys can look forward to seeing more
Correct.
and hearing more about
Correct. Correct. I can't wait.
it. Right.
I can't wait. We have that. The whole seminary here, right?
Correct.
So, yeah, Gandhi, you gonna come?
Yeah.
You gonna?
Well, we need him
We'll
here
gotta-
because he needs to let the landlords know that maintenance does do what they're supposed to do concerning the tenants, and how when they come in, this is how they should come in. Because some people just think maintenance just come in. Well, no, you have to give a notice.
Absolutely.
You just can't
You
come
should.
into a
You
person's
should.
unit.
You should.
However, they normally contact
Yes.
me for a work order, and then I set it up.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get maintenance to just come in people's unit. Like you just can't do that.
No, you can't do that. You got to give them the right notice and
Correct.
everything, whatever's per law and per village code.
Right.
We got to do the right way, and then you guys do it all the time.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Every single time.
Plus, I think I'm gonna start having anybody buying a building with me. I'm gonna have them talk with you guys, so at least you guys give them heads up on little maintenance that could happen, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, because sometimes you also got to have I think anybody buying, they should have like a little money on the side, right? Because things would happen, right?
You have
Oh, for
to.
sure.
You have to.
You can't just put all your down payment or
Right.
or buy something. Don't get me wrong, it's good to buy with low down payment programs, but you want to be safe too, have something on the side, safety net, right?
Reserve. That's why the bank
Reserve.
wants you to have reserve.
Yeah.
Because they know at
Yeah.
any point, at any time,
Things
something
happen.
can happen.
Things happen.
And put you into foreclosure, which nobody wants
No.
to go there.
No, you don't wanna go there, no.
And then if you got a building and you can't afford to fix the water tank, or you can't afford to fix the heating system, or whatever it is that's a necessity, and then your tenants start moving out, then who's going to pay the rent?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're smart about it, and if you think about it, think about all our properties, right? As bad as let's say the worst thing that happened, a furnace, a roof, windows, because I know you guys done that. In the long run, over years, with appreciation, with inflation, would you do it all over again?
Yes, I would.
Yes, you would.
All
Definitely.
over again.
Right?
Definitely.
All over again.
It did take you to another, God bless for all of us, take us to another level.
Yes, it did.
And if we didn't have properties,
Right.
maybe it wouldn't.
Exactly.
So either way, I'm a big advocate. Buy your real estate.
Correct. I'm a
The
big
smart
advocate
way.
too. Buy
Yeah.
your real estate.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I would be as far as I am now in real estate.
I love it.
I just thought maybe one piece of property.
Yeah.
When I met Mr. Chapman, and
Yeah,
he
never
decided,
mind.
no, we're gonna go more.
I remember you're more almost want to be like a flipper, right?
Yeah.
And Chapman, because I hold. I've done flips, but I like to hold. And Chapman's like, yeah, Greg, I want to hold too.
Residual income.
I don't want to get rid of nothing.
Nah.
Yeah,
And-
he loves to hold. We have some tenants now that are interested in buying our Merrill's property.
Oh,
And
Melrose.
he will not.
Oh, I love
He's
it.
like,
Yeah.
no.
And then one thing about you had bad luck there too. You had water come in.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
You told me, man, I got water.
Yeah, we got water coming into the basement, which means there's some cracks somewhere in the foundation,
Yeah.
right? Which is something can be serious.
yeah, it could be.
Yeah. It could be serious, just depends.
But you
right?
still have the property.
Yeah. So you just maximize your property to the best you can, because it's a great property.
Right.
Would I buy it again? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the foundation
Yeah.
damage wasn't that bad.
Correct.
So
Cash flow.
Cash flow. Is that
That's
yeah,
it.
cash
You
flow.
can't panic though. you know?
Nah, that's the worst thing you can do is panic.
Exactly. Because you think about when you started, right, you were getting a certain amount of rents. Now, probably rents are 30% up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
they
and
But this is what you told me though.
I did tell
like
you.
about maybe 2 years ago in Starbucks. You was like, okay, if you get $1 from that property,
Yep.
you're doing good.
you're doing good.
And I didn't understand that at that time.
Yep.
And then now the rents are up, because at
Yep.
first we were getting $1.
Yep. But I told you, got to hold
So
on.
now we're getting way
Yep.
more than $1. So
Yep.
I didn't understand that at
Yep.
that time. And I don't think he understood it, because he felt like those people, you get a property and you're a millionaire with
No.
the first one, but it doesn't work like that. And
Correct.
through your counseling with
Correct. Thank
us,
you.
we've learned that,
Yeah.
it takes
Thank you.
time.
Yeah, it
it's like
takes
this
time.
puzzle that you're putting together, right?
It really is. It
Yeah.
really is. So it's like it's a chess game.
Exactly.
So you'll get there.
And he plays
know?
chess well, so he should have known that.
Yeah.
Well, I actually in the beginning I didn't. I felt like you get them, like she just said.
Yeah.
I felt like cash was just over the top. But then
No.
she and I talked a little bit about it, and I still didn't. I was
Yeah.
like, nah, got to hold and fold. You got to
Yeah.
keep getting. But then when actually, I want to say it was at Starbucks when we was talking about that.
Yeah.
And when you sat down and said that, keep putting.
We went over numbers. Yeah, we went over numbers.
Then I began to really grasp.
Is I'm like, because I was like, I'm all about like not going negative. Right. I'm like, we're not buying any properties. We're negative cash flow. That we're gonna ditch our money. That I don't want to do. Some people done that in the past. You got to be careful. But if it breaks even, you make a little bit. I'm like, just keep going.
Right.
Keep going, little by little. You accumulate. You buy other properties. Things are gonna get better and better. Because life, everything's going up.
Correct.
Think about it. Even inflation alone.
Yes.
So until there's that, because I'm just looking really. I learned also based on like the old school people, you know what I mean? Based on the history and based on clients that I have, they bought property 20 years ago. And maybe back then they were not making nothing.
Right.
All of a sudden 10 years go by and their rents go 50% up.
This is true.
You know?
Trust me, he knows what he's talking about, you guys. I've been with him for 15 years. He knows.
Time flies though.
It's almost like he sees in the future. The things that he would tell us.
Yep. I told you.
If you just sit back and have patience, you'll begin to see it.
Yep.
And when you start to see it, you know, a lot of times I wouldn't even tell my wife. I'd be like, oh, that's what Greg was telling. But then I'm sure she was probably saying the same thing to herself. Yeah. That's exactly what he was saying. And then, you know, you begin to see it and it unfolds. And once it starts to unfold, you feel like you're on the winning team.
You're on the winning team.
You don't necessarily have to cross the finish line first. All you have to do is give it your personal best.
Exactly. I agree.
And you're winning.
I agree. Absolutely. That's all it is. Patience.
Right.
Patience. But it's been a great journey.
I mean, it's much more than just having things to do. It's a lesson in it. And once you do those things and you go through them, it's almost like a journey. Once you continue to go on, you begin to see it, and then now you know what to do, and you know how to continue to move forward with it to continue to grow.
Correct.
But you know, everybody is not meant to be a maintenance, and
that's
everybody's not meant to be a landlord.
That's true.
I mean, I've ran into people before that's like, I don't want to be a landlord. You know, for whatever reason, they don't want to be a landlord. I still don't understand why they say it. And I get that. I mean, I get it, but I am a landlord. But I understand what they're saying, because some people just don't want to deal with it. Like me, I can deal with it.
Yeah,
I don't mind.
Me
like
too.
Greg say, sometimes I have to balance you.
Yeah, you got to be the bruiser and things like that.
You know what it is? You take on pressure. There's a lot of pressure that happens during the day, a lot of different calls, a different text message, and you know to handle it.
Exactly.
So that's what kind of like, you know, brings you to a different level.
Sometimes some threats.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I take it with a grain of salt.
But we take on pressure. That's the big thing.
But the thing about that is, when you get that pressure from those tenants that wants to say they're gonna call the lawyer or call this, if you know your rights as a landlord, then you can fight with them.
Correct.
You know, and I don't mean physically fight with them. No. But I mean talking to them and letting them know that, you know, like the instance we had with the lady that had to get the letter for the service animal. Yes. Like, you know, we understand that there are emotional support animals and that people come with them.
Because technically we didn't allow animals in that
we didn't allow animals, but to get around that, we had a tenant that played on the system.
They played the system,
but we had to honor that, you know. However, as a landlord, we still have some opportunity to have her to vacate the unit if we need to, if it gotten to that point. But if you don't know these rules as a landlord, then the tenants would just take advantage of it. Because that's what they do. Some of them.
And some of them do, some not. Some, you know, I mean, maybe they really wanted that pet, right? But every place says no pet, so they found a way, a way to get one, right?
Squeeze through the crack.
But but as long you provide the right proof, right? And give us like, you know. And then also, I always advise everybody, landlord and tenants, you know, communicate, talk to each other.
Exactly.
What do you want? Because at the end of the day, the tenants could find a way out of the place or get like a pet, get something without, landlord permit, play the system. And the landlord could play the system. And get you out, So just talk, like, you know, knocking wood, as of today, we never, I think you guys too, we never really had a real eviction.
No.
And that's huge, guys.
Not one,
It's huge. I know landlords do one every year.
Yeah.
So that's huge. And so we don't have it from both of us, and we have a lot of, experience combined.
I'm working with a landlord now that has 5 on his calendar.
You see? Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
5.
But we try to talk with people because at the end of the day, we're not like this mean landlord.
Oh, no.
We try to work it out with a tenant, as much as we can, of course, but we try.
We've had some tenants. Well, the last one that put a pork chop down the toilet.
Oh man, I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
Why would you put a pork chop? And there's physical. You can see it. There's physical evidence that he put a pork chop down the toilet. Now, why he put a pork chop down the toilet?
Wait a second. Let me.
I don't understand.
Let me interrupt you on that. That's why, and I'm sorry for all my tenants that you're listening to this. That's why I avoid to put garbage disposal.
Oh,
absolutely. Garbage disposal. No. I'm sorry, but they think it's like I don't know, the garbage truck outside just mashes everything. It does not. It does not. You can't just throw everything in there.
No, you cannot.
You gotta clean your plate, and then maybe that's just like last, crumbs or something, that you put in the garbage disposal.
No garbage disposals, no dishwashers.
None of those.
And no installed microwaves. Because those are the things that you're going to have to continue to replace. Yeah. Because they're and it's not all tenants. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Because I have some tenants in my building. There's some tenants that I manage for Greg and his building that are spending.
The best.
When I say
absolutely.
The house is so
you could eat on the floors.
You can.
You
literally can.
Yeah.
And he comes home and tell me, "Oh shit, babe, I was over to such that lady house so clean." You know what I'm saying? So it's not everybody. But those are the things that you'll continue to replace all the time.
Yeah.
Microwaves, dishwashers, and garbage disposals.
And lately toilets, because we got the pork chops thing.
Yes.
I mean, I don't, and then wants to say he don't know how it got stopped up. He don't know who put it down there.
There was water coming out from the unit below? Or
it was water coming out of everywhere.
The toilet wasn't flushing,
It was water
right?
coming out of the toilet. It was water coming out of the tub.
But we unclogged that thing like 3 times.
Yes.
Like it happened we
actually changed the toilet in it.
Exactly.
No, but once we changed the toilet, then we found out about the pork chop. We didn't know.
Exactly.
And he wouldn't tell us.
No.
And then eventually, after the 3rd time, I'm talking about this is 2 weeks process at that point.
Yeah.
Several, a lot of money, several $100.
A lot of money.
A lot of money. Plumbers, everything all above. And then finally, we're like, let's. We removed the whole toilet. We put a camera, and we found
took it all out, and it was
freaking pork chop.
Didn't know where it was facing. I didn't know if it was an arm, a finger, or something was up under there. But then, and what really was funny to me, not funny, but it was funny to me. The gentleman told me he didn't know what it was that was in there, and his dad was actually pointing the finger at his son.
Right, so they're pointing the finger at each other.
Yeah,
right.
But when we looked and took it out, then his son realized it, and his dad confronted him and said, "We just had that for supper." I guess when the problem started happening, and the son raked the whole plate with the food. He didn't want to eat it. Raked it in the toilet and tried to flush it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it was a horror story. Yeah. And so I'm like the kid when you have to come to your mom and say, "Hey, something happened." So that's me coming to Greg.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God. Yeah.
I know you don't want to hear this.
Yeah.
And when I come to him like that, it's because I'm a owner too.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's life though. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, oh, Greg.
I know.
Oh, yeah. I gotta tell you, this bill is high,
and it sucks.
And
it sucks really, big
and
time.
It sucks, but it's what you gotta do.
But what do you gotta do? You know what I mean? It is what it is. We try our best, and we just keep going. But things happen, and then you're probably like, Greg, remember when you told me at Starbucks? Just look at the future.
Yeah.
On this particular unit, look at the future because it's gonna cost you a lot this year.
Exactly. I mean, and that's what it is. But, you get past those things. We got past it. The plumbers came out 3 times. They got it done, and we haven't had any problems since.
No. But that's just to say, I mean, just if you look at it, that's not always good, easy. It's just not flowing. You have bad times. And when those bad times come around, it's not every day, but when they do come and arise, you have to deal with them right then. And, you know, a lot of times you really don't know what you're expecting.
Correct.
And once you find out, get to the source of it, fix it, then you begin to get back on your little soar.
Correct. Exactly. I agree. Yeah. But an advice to the public here for people thinking about buying real estate on the first property, what's the best advice? Like, regarding like maintenance, like should they hire, like maybe they see me right now, right? Like, oh, Greg, that's good. You're able to do your job and have a property manager, but can everybody do that right away? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I own multiple units, and now I'm doing that because I cash flow, and I'm able to, some of the cash flow goes towards you guys to pay you guys. But maybe in the beginning, the person should, like, you know, do stuff on his own.
Oh, for sure. Well, we have properties now. I won't name how many. However, we still do our own maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still do our own maintenance. So it doesn't happen immediately.
Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight.
No, not overnight.
So in the beginning, maybe you have, you know, you do stuff hands-on, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Or maybe if it's something really difficult, then you do call, you know,
Exactly,
Chianti
someone to
here,
come in.
Chapman,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And you get somebody. And even then, they'll assess the problem and they'll figure out and they'll call you. Like, that's what you guys do. Like, hey, Greg, we got to do this, and that. You know? And not just, like, replace it, you know what I mean? And have a big surprise. You'll let me know.
Right. Oh, yeah, I definitely always, because me being an owner, too, I always think about myself when I'm thinking about Greg.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I'm not going to do something that for him or put something or purchase something that I wouldn't do for myself. I'm always telling Keontae. He'd be like, well, this is how much it's going to cost, babe. I'm like, well, no, we not paying that. He like, what do you mean we not paying that? This is for Greg. Well, we got to find something better because I look at it as,
and you don't have to do that.
Right. No, I don't have to do that.
You could just like, okay, whatever. It's on his tab.
Exactly.
Let me charge.
No,
you know?
but
you don't do that.
I don't do that. No, I go to bat.
Yeah, you do. Even last time we found like those stove. I'm like, I go down in the basement to go get some rent, and I see this package. I'm like, what is that? I'm like,
a package, yeah.
What is that? She's like, oh, I found some great deal. Forget about sending the appliance guy.
Oh, for sure.
We just bought these because it's cheaper than sending the appliance guy to fix them. I'm like, all right, cool. You made a decision,
right?
But the reason behind. Besides all that, all the decision you make and everything, it's because we have a good relationship.
Exactly.
And maybe that's one of the big advice, thinking about it now.
Exactly.
For a new landlord, even if he does it on his own and he has to find a plumber or a maintenance guy on the side, have a good relationship with them.
Exactly.
You know? Because you got to have each other back.
You do. And I definitely have your, and I know you know that already.
I know.
Sometimes I get in trouble for you.
No, I know you do.
But yeah, so that's most important. If you're thinking about buying a property, you may have to do the maintenance on your own in the beginning, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Correct.
I learned something from you. Like, my properties usually take care of themselves.
Yes.
And people will send the rent, via Zelle or via mail or whatever. So I learned from you to put a mailbox downstairs in the area, in the basement or somewhere where they can get to, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And the reason why doing that, you told me, well, it gives me time to go by my property and see how it's doing.
Yep.
I said, oh, that's a good idea. So I decided to do that too, because it gives us time to go by there. Because some of our properties, we don't even have to go by.
No.
Like, they really take care of the property. But we want to go by there just to see.
At least once a month.
Once a month to see how the properties are doing. So I do learn from you when you're talking.
Yeah, I know.
So I advise someone to do their own maintenance, pay attention to their property.
Yep.
When picking people or tenants to live in your property, I say do the whole background check.
Yep.
Do the background check, do the employment verification, do the references. Take your time to do it.
And I told tenants too, I used to now, if you talk with them or one of my agents finds a tenant, I told, hey, just treat the property, I just want you to treat the property like your home.
Correct.
Because I care about the property and I want to maintain the property nice. I'm going to have it clean all the time up front. I'm going to have the hallways always clean, like, you know what I mean? We do it every time. Like, we don't slack on that, you know what I mean?
Correct.
So it's always because we want a clean environment. Then I want you keep it clean too.
Exactly.
So.
And if you do that, if you set the tone, they'll keep it up.
They'll keep it
but
up.
if you got stuff all over the place and junk in the back, they're going to do
then they
exactly
think like, this is
he
whatever.
don't care, so I'm going to do whatever he does.
Exactly.
So I'm big on maintenance as well, too. Mr. Chapman can tell you. I'm very big on maintenance.
I guess lead by example. Right?
Yeah, take this out, throw that away, cut this, let's do this. I'm always trying to keep it appealing to the eye.
Exactly.
So that when people ride past, if I don't have a tenant, I want to stay there. I always wanted to go live in that place. It looks like she really keeps it up, or they really keep it up.
Correct.
So that's advice I would give someone, that's thinking about buying a property.
Buying a property.
Yeah, and then get a dream team, because we really got a dream team.
Yeah, it's important.
Definitely.
Like,
it's important to get a dream
super
team.
important. Everybody.
That support. Yeah.
Everybody. That support. And then you create that relationship like we do, right? Like between me, us and the lender and other people that we have in our team too. We all know each other a long time.
Exactly.
And that goes a long way.
Right, because I know that anything that Greg does or the lender does, it's in the best interest of me and Mr. Chapman.
Correct.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
And also, like, you got, like, we're easy access to each other, right? It's just a text, boom, you get a response, you know, versus if you start calling 1-800 number and on anything, from the lender, from the realtor, your maintenance guy, forget about it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're not going to get the straight story. You're going to get the, you know, corporate story, unfortunately.
For sure.
But we like to keep it as a little boutique. Just like how XR is a little boutique, my maintenance person is a little boutique. We're all like just small people that want to become big, but also keep that humble, you know, humble beginnings. All right, Candy. So besides, you know, having a dream team, right? What's an advice or something for landlords, for a new person who wants to buy a building? What should they watch out, or what should they let their tenant know before they move in? You know, common things you see happening all the time, like with my places, what other clients you take care of.
Okay, I mean, to be honest with you, I think that the relationship between the landlord and the tenant, I think you should have a communication thing going.
Okay.
On the surface, it may not be much that they're not paying attention to.
They're not paying attention.
And if you make it where as though you guys can communicate every little thing, a dripping faucet, running water, in the toilet basin, sounds. When you flush the toilet, water's not going down right, or whatever. Little things that may not seem like much can turn around and be a big problem.
Could be a big problem, yeah.
So those type of things, they need to watch out. You work together as a team.
Yeah.
If they pay attention to that, the fact that when they turn on the light switch, it may have a slight delay in it. No.
Yeah.
They have to, anything.
Communicate.
That's it.
Right?
Communication.
Yeah. Even with a text message. Right, because now we have so much technology, you know, Facebook, Twitter, text message, Messenger, video call. Like, just, I'm not saying go on the phone because people are busy, right?
Yeah.
Maybe somebody might say like, hey, I want to become a landlord, but I'm busy during the week. I work 50, 60 hours. All right, just have them on the text, do it on the side, you know? Even that simple text.
Right, because if they don't address those issues with you, they can become bigger issues.
They do.
Like the tenant we had with the electrical problem over in Elmwood that had been going on for almost a year, and then her whole house went out on one side. Nuts. You know, so that problem didn't just start that.
She never told us.
Never
said anything. Told us. So little small things, if you hear like a little static when you turn the light on, there's an issue in there that can cause a fire.
Yeah.
You know, if there's, like he said, dripping water. I get letters from Park Ridge all the time. Somebody's water is running somewhere.
Yeah.
And those sounds that they hear with the water in the toilet, that's not necessarily just the way it is. Sometimes it's running water.
Yeah.
So you need to address it with your landlord. And it's not that you did anything wrong.
Yeah.
It's just something maintenance needs to come in and fix.
Wear and tear.
Yeah, wear and tear. Normal wear and tear.
Correct.
So and so those are the things that they need to if the window is not letting up, if the screen is broken, if you know any little thing. And I think a lot of tenants don't want to say anything. Because they figure, I just got here. She gonna think I broke it. Or they gonna think I broke it. But that's not it.
But they should say
it become a bigger problem. We want to stop it now.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
We don't want it to get large.
Correct. Yeah. So. We want them to tell us anything.
Exactly.
Anything comes up.
A lot of times they don't even know it though. That's the thing about it though. Little things like that.
Yeah.
They have not.
This is true.
It's not that it becomes a norm.
Correct.
It's just that they're not aware of what's going on.
Correct.
So if I tell all of your tenants, our tenants, I always tell them, I say, it may not seem like much to you, or you may not understand what's going on, but whatever, just say something.
Like, think about a leak, right? How many leaks we have? And they don't say nothing, and it happens little by little, and all of a sudden it expands, it creates mold, you have to change the whole drywall. Then, you know, it becomes a whole big thing.
Yeah.
When it could be.
We could have caught it right away.
At the very beginning.
You know?
Right.
You know, so something like that, or unclogging their toilets or their faucet is huge, like, you know, like that.
That's really a big thing.
You know, it's huge that they could break stuff too, because a lot of these pipes. The thing is that in Chicago, most of our plumbing are galvanized.
Yeah.
Yes,
right?
they are.
Especially on buildings, like you know, unless the owner like completely did a complete renovation rehab and like you guys did, right? And put copper pipe in. Most of our are galvanized. So they're galvanized, they're already falling apart. You stick something there, you're creating a hole.
You will.
You're creating a hole.
You
and
will.
then it become a huge problem. So yeah.
Way bigger than what they think.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
like you said, this is
Exactly. You gotta be on top of stuff.
And then also another thing that we do, we have a sheet. It's like a unit sheet where it lets you check off, like after you move in and you get like settled in.
Yeah.
There's a sheet that we usually leave in the unit so that you would check off if there's anything wrong.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You know, so it kind of gives them, just kind of help them remember, like look over your unit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
See if there's anything wrong in your unit. Check
yeah.
off what's wrong. And then you can either send the paper in, or you can email it in, or however you want to get it to us, so that we can start to look at.
And you guys get the unit nice and neat too.
Yeah, because sometimes you're excited.
I know. Yeah. I've seen it in some of mine. I'm like, hey, Shannon, can you just make sure the transition goes fine? You know, we found a tenant and they're happy, they get in, so it's nice.
Correct. Yeah, and just do a walkthrough with them, and then you don't catch everything then. So that's why we leave that slip.
Yeah.
For after you're being there for a little while, if you
that's
see
huge.
anything that's wrong.
That's huge. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's a, you know, I mean, it's awesome. We touch a lot of topics, you know, all great topics. But one of the main things is to give everybody, you know, because everybody is probably scared sometimes too to get into real estate, you know, and they don't have a lot of money and they're like, oh, what do I do? But believe it or not, I think all is possible, right, guys?
It is.
Like, think about it,
We
right?
didn't start with a lot of money.
Exactly.
We did not start with a lot of money. So that's the biggest myth right there.
Right? Yeah.
That to get in real estate, you need a lot of money. That is not true.
Yeah.
Do not believe it.
Over here, yes.
Do not
In the
believe
United States, if you have the will, the passion,
right there.
and
That's the money. That's the money.
Right, that's the money.
That's the money.
That's the money. But you have to have that, you know, that grit, right?
Yeah, you do.
And you surround yourself with good people. You're gonna get there. I'm not gonna say overnight. It's not gonna happen.
No,
it won't.
But years fly by. You know, it's better to get started, and then all of a sudden I mean, God bless you'll be in a good position. So that being said, you know, this is a wrap. Episode 10 is over, but we had a good time, and thanks for Shannon and Chianti to be here.
Thank
I
you
love
for
you
having
guys.
us.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, we
Definitely.
will.
And we'll do it again. Maybe we'll get Frank next time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get Frank.
That definitely will be good.
We'll get Frank. He got stories too, that guy,
Exactly.
you know?
He does.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and have a good day. Ciao.
Peace.